Because we can't do anything by ourselves. Just like when you're in your sport, on your team. A lot of y'all, you had to depend on your teammate, right? So that's exactly what this is, and I feel like with BSA we can change the community, we can change LSU, and we can change many more things. We can put a front against anything that's pushing us back. And once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody, because I know it's hard. It's having those uncomfortable conversations with your teammate, with your coaches. But I want to let y'all know y'all have our support as BSA, and y'all have the support of the staff, the administration. We're here. You know what I'm saying? It's time. Like, we're not little kids anymore. We can actually make change by voting, by raising awareness, by doing things, by giving back to the community, showing the Black community that they can go somewhere with this. So I didn't want to be long, but now I'm going to introduce the next speaker, President Tom Galligan, giving a couple words of support. And once again, just thank you everybody for coming out and showing that support. Love y'all.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, I'm going to remind you, like everybody else is, be as physically distant as we possibly can, because there still is a pandemic. And as we are physically distant, let me echo the message that you just heard. We may be physically distant, but we are unified. And as a faculty member, as an administrator, as the interim president of this great university, it is an honor to be with you today at this Unity March. It's a march about unity, it's a march and an event about social justice, and it's a march and an event about racial justice. When we do these things, what do we say? We say Black Lives Matter. Now, that is a humanitarian statement. It's a statement about unity, it's a statement about love, and it's a statement about change and hope. So Black Lives Matter. What else matters? Black voices matter. We want to hear, and as we hear, all of us want to join in the throng. Now, as athletes, as student athletes, you represent us in the gym, on the field, on the track, in the pool. I'm probably leaving something out, but you represent, in the classroom, you represent us. And you do it with dignity, and you do it with significance, and you do it with distinction, and we are proud of you. But what does it mean? It means people watch you. It means people respect you. It means people love you. But you know what else they'll do? They'll listen to you. They will listen to you. So you have this university's support. You have the support of the president, of the provost. I know she's here. You have the support of the board. I know the chair of the board, Robert Damp, is here. Wayne Brown came all the way to Shreveport. They support you too. So please speak, and together, let's try and change the world. Thank you very much for including us in this great event.
Hi, my name is Journey, and I'm very excited to announce our next speaker. He is LSU football's kickoff specialist. He's a two-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll, and he's the Student Athlete Advisory Committee co-leader. He's the co-president of the Student Athletic Committee, Avery Atkins, everybody.
Morning, everybody. My name is Avery Atkins, like she said. I am the kickoff specialist for the LSU football team, but more importantly right now, I'm the co-president, along with Kit Hanley, for the Student Athlete Academic Council. And you can see part of my exec team up here is we really do care for you. Each and everybody out here. Every one of y'all is important to us. We're here to make a change. And if you look around, this is the power of LSU. We are LSU. All of us out here to make a change, to make a difference, because this is not just a moment, it's a movement. We are all here for this. Everybody in here individually can make a change, but if we come together as each team, LSU, the possibilities are endless. I have a quote I want to give y'all, and it says, "Change is like a seed. Seeds are planted for growth. Our dreams are what we're going to need to grow, and this is the start of it. Everybody here has a dream for change, but we all have to keep pressing forward, keep moving forward, making the difficult conversations, making the change that's necessary. We all need it, and we will do it. As Coach O famously says, one team, one heartbeat. We're all in this together. Thank you, and go Tigers.
Growing up an African-American woman in America is not very easy, and there's not many times you see people like us in leadership roles. So not only has she been a great mentor for me, but she's been a great role model for all of her team. She's from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and learned most of her ways from the great coach Pat Summitt. Years later, she is one of the only women that coaches at a PWI. There's only 2% NCAA head coaches that are black women, and like I just said, she's one of them. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you my dear mentor, Coach Nikki Vargas, head women's coach of basketball.
These guys, I go, you guys bringing up your cell phone with your notes on there, and I brought up a piece of paper. So I'm telling my age, I'm 48. Y'all supposed to be clapping on that. I want to see you student athletes at age 48 looking like this. Hello. That's that COVID weight loss plan. All right, we're here for a beautiful unity walk. It was nice walking around campus, and we hope that through this walk, united we stand, and together we will act. Until the land of the free, y'all heard that phrase, until the land of the free is free of racism. Until the home of the brave is brave enough to change. Until by the people and for the people means doing right by all the people. Until justice just is. For racial injustice to be eradicated, we all got to get in this fight. You have to have a no tolerance policy. When you see it, you call it. You're taught that as teammates. When somebody's doing wrong, or they didn't touch that line, or they're not giving their all, you're supposed to hold them accountable. Back in the 60s, there was this club called the Hungry Club formed. It's where white politicians Martin Luther King and people of leadership would secretly meet to talk about how to dismantle racism. We don't have to secretly meet. This ain't no secret right here that's going on. You guys gathered today, got up on a beautiful Saturday morning to tell your fellow student athletes that I am here for you and with you, and that I stand by you. And if you mean that, and you truly going to engage in that, then we can make change. I was at a rally a few months ago, and maybe some of you guys joined us. And do I think it's important to attend a HBCU? Yeah, I do. My mom attended Tennessee State University. But I think it's also equally important to attend a historically white university. It's important for a lot of reasons, because what happens is at HBCUs, they feel like if I go there, I'm sharing my experience, so I feel good because they share the same experience that I do, and that makes me feel at home. Well, at a historically white university, why don't we do the same thing? Why don't we learn around the other people who may not look like us, right? Own our whiteness and own our blackness, but we still can make each other feel at home. Attending this university and having attended another historically white university, the University of Tennessee, that little orange school over there. Yeah, that little orange school. Now, I don't know if we're facing them this year, but ladies, get ready. Period. It's not easy, because I know the beat of your heart. I know the beat of your heart when you walk into that classroom for the first time, black student athletes. I know the beat of your heart, but I also know the beat of your heart when you have to run out and compete in your first game. I know the beat of your heart when that mic for your first interview is put in your face to talk about the game. I know the beat of your heart when those sirens come on and you're getting pulled over and you immediately, one, put your registration up on the dashboard. Two, let me call somebody and put them on speakerphone so they can hear what's going on and make sure that I get home. And three, go 10 and 2. I know your heartbeat. And we all got to beat to that. And then in closing, you got some amazing coaches. I work with some amazing people. We wrote and came up with a statement that we wanted to tell each and every one of you. We didn't say it months ago, but we're going to say it now. And I'm going to say it on behalf of the coaches. Because each one of you, we sat in your living rooms, we went to your house, we've watched you grow up, and we are supposed to take care of you. So as your coaches, know that you matter. Know that your voice matters. Know that it's powerful and you can change the world. Know that we're going to stand with you against racism and discrimination in all its forms. Know that we're going to fight with you for justice and against injustice. And we're going to speak up for you and support you with your voice for change, because Black lives matter. And hold us to this. Keep us accountable, because we know the beats of your heart literally depends on it. Thank you.
I just want to say that was a great speech, Coach. Meant a lot. My name is Andre Hyatt. I'm part of the basketball team, and I'm here to introduce Dr. Lisa Martin. She's a professor of African American Studies in the Department of Sociology. She also serves as the chair of the College of Humanities Committee on Diversity and Inclusion. And this past January, she began to work as the faculty athletics representative for LSU. So please welcome Dr. Lisa Martin.
I need a chair. I'm going to sit on the trash can.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this very historic moment. I must say that I'm saddened by the fact that we actually need to even have a unity rally around these ongoing racial injustices. And of course, we're all familiar with the phrase Black Lives Matter. For some people, it's just a popular hashtag. For other people, it represents a movement. For me and for many others, it's a declaration. It's a proclamation that Black people have been making for over 400 years. They've given their lives and sacrificed so much for it. But while I'm saddened about the continued need for this unity walk and for other activities like it, I celebrate each of you for having the courage to join the many people that we know and remain unknown who have fought for social justice issues. So I celebrate you for joining in the legacy of the Black women who were involved in the Black women's movement. I celebrate you for joining Mamie Till, the mother of Emmett Till. I celebrate you for joining all those young people that made the changes that we observed in the 1960s and 70s possible. Whether you know it or not, you're joining a long legacy of athletes who have used their positions to bring about social change. So I celebrate you also for joining the likes of people like John Carlos and Tommy Smith, Muhammad Ali, Colin Kaepernick, Ryan Clark, Naomi Osaka, and the BSAA at LSU. Thank you.
Never in my life at age 40 did I think I'd have to come here or have the opportunity to stand here and speak in front of y'all about something that was so important to me and that we feel like should be so important to you. I grew up on the West Bank. I don't know how many of y'all know about the West Bank of New Orleans, but it's a different place. It's a strange place. To me, it's separate from the world. I grew up in lower income, lower middle class neighborhoods where I was the youngest kid most times. A lot of times the only Black kid. So my parents, when I was growing up, they taught me two different things. Because see, the reason we're here today is because of the lack of education, right? The Black athletes here, many of you have a lack of education on where we come from, right? Like we all saying, love you king, love you queen, like you gotta know that that's based in something. Because we come from kings, we come from queens, and that history was suppressed. So now we associate our history with struggle. We associate our history with fight, but we're so much more than that. And then on the other side, right, whether you're white, you're Asian, you're Hispanic, you don't have enough knowledge of the history to know the same thing. Right, so you judge it by what you hear. You judge it by what you see. It looks menacing. It looks dangerous. It's not the same. It's unfamiliar. So see, we don't do enough of educating ourselves on who we are around in order to actually love it. Because yeah, you gotta love yourself. If you're Black, love yourself. Think that you are important enough to care for. Because see what happens when I love me, right, and I look in the mirror every day, I also walk outside and I see people that look like me and I love them too. Because we the same, right? And if you're not Black and you educate yourself on it enough, you can see yourself in me too. So if you see yourself in me, why would you want to do it harm? Why would you not want us to be treated fairly? And so the stories I was told when I was, this sucks. So the stories that I was told when I was growing up, one was about being Black and how I should see being Black. And this is how I was told, Ryan, you can do anything that you want to do. You're smart enough, you're beautiful enough, You're strong enough. So you put your mind to it and you can accomplish it. Ryan, when you see white people, Hispanics, Asian, they are the same. They have the same heart. They serve the same God. They were made the same way, in the same likeness, in the same image. So you treat them like you treat yourself. That's what I was told. That's what I learned. You date who you want to date. You talk to who you want to talk to. You bring home who you want to bring home. You become friends with whoever you want to become friends to, because all y'all are the same. All y'all should be treated the same. Then they taught me a different story. They taught me a different thing. They taught me how I would be seen by the world. Because that's two different things. What I see in the mirror isn't always what people see when they look at me. So they said, you're going to have to work twice as hard just to get close. You're going to have to conform and act certain ways and talk certain ways in certain places to make people comfortable. See, you might not be able to say that at this time to this person because this is what happens. When they pull you over and they tell you you're wrong for something that you don't know you're wrong for, if you want to save your life, shut your mouth. Pick your hands up. Look them in the eyes. Yes, sir. No, sir. No matter how much they disrespect you, no matter how much they put their hands on you, you can't do nothing back because we want to see you get back to this house. So I used to tell the two stories. And for most of you, if you're white, you've never had to hear the tale of that story. And so the way I grew up, it was cool. I've been the best man in 2 weddings. One of them from a white brother, one of them from a black brother. My white brother's named Ross. He got blue eyes and blonde hair. My black brother's named Kevin. He got a big beard, a bald head, and a big belly. But they the same to me. I'm the godfather of both of their first sons because that's my family. That's my people. That's the way I grew up. Right? And so when I was raising my children, I wanted my children to grow up to see people the way I saw people. So yeah, date whoever the hell you want, bring around whoever the hell you want. All the people are the same. I still told a tale of 2 stories, but I told it differently because my kids grew up differently. Their dad was Ryan Clark. Right? And so that's what happens when we become athletes, and we're black athletes and we're white athletes. We start to see the world in the small prison that is our locker room, but that's not the world. See, if you're a white athlete and you know your homegirl is really fast and she can slap that joint and get to first base and you're going to get her around, oh, she's cool. Right? And if you're a black athlete, you just want to make sure she can pitch and make sure it's put in the right place. You listen to coach tell you what to be. You pick it up, you throw it to first base, you get it back to the pitcher, you do it again. Right? It's the same thing, right? If we hooping, we like, hey, we don't love any of you differently, right? But just like when we hooping, and y'all know it, sometimes somebody gonna have a bad matchup. And just because we double when they go in the post, that don't mean we don't believe in you or we don't love you. You just need some help. Right? If I'm playing middle of the field safety and I got one corner who got a bad matchup and I got another corner who locking up, I'm gonna lean to the other side because that dude needs help. But it doesn't mean that I love this corner less than that corner, or I love this post player less than that post player. Just they say right now they are under siege and they need help. Well, guess what, y'all? We need help. Right? It's not all right to just say that I'm not racist. It's not all right to just say that I have no problem with you. You gotta have a problem with racism. And if you are white, or you are Hispanic, or you are Asian, and you're in a circle with people who are continuing to be racist, you gotta check that. You gotta hold them accountable. And then your life has to be to a point where they look at you and say, you know what, that's what it's supposed to look like. When they see you walk with your friends and they say, you know what, that's how it was supposed to be. Because that's what is athletics. And I'm not confused, y'all. I'm not confused. I am not LSU's favorite son. And I don't give a damn. Right? I'm supposed to talk sports every day. But every day, the reason I'm going viral is because I talk life. And not just black life. I talk life. I talk human rights. Because this is what it is, right? It's human rights. But see, what happens is, because it is about black lives, now we try to make it about more than it is. Because see, I grew up in that way I used to fight for the bad apples. I used to be like, man, like, you know, I play ball with so-and-so, like, they cool as hell. Y'all know who my favorite person at LSU is? Freaking Sam Nader. Straight up. Sam Nader could be blue, he could be purple, he could be green. It wouldn't mean a thing to me, because that's freaking Sam Nader. I'm letting y'all know, one of y'all do something to Sam Nader, y'all gotta see me on site, period, the rest of your life. And so like that was the way I grew up. And so I was like, nah, they got people like Sam Nader, so how can racism be this big of a deal? So I gotta teach it a certain way, because I don't want my kids to grow up and feel like that's the only way to be, because everybody you come in contact is racist. But I failed them. I didn't teach them enough. They don't know enough. I was so glad that Nikki got to speak, because it reminded me of what I've learned since I started opening my big mouth on TV, and I realized that my life had to absolutely match exactly what I was saying. Are they filming this? I fucking love women. Y'all are so strong, so smart, so brave, so much better than we are as men, and I thank y'all. To see what happens, right? Like, be honest, y'all. Like, I ain't about to bull crap. I know I'm here because them boys walked out a couple of weeks ago, right? And I'm gonna be honest, I watch every single thing that happens. And I talk about it, and I speak on it. I don't care if you coach, I don't care if you run the school, I don't care if you're the AD. I'm gonna hold you accountable just like I want y'all to hold me accountable. I say something on TV, I do something in life that lets y'all down, y'all tell me. But I guarantee you, you do something here that don't take care of these players, that don't take care of these kids, these women, these men, I'm gonna hold your ass accountable to, and that's never gonna change for me. You see, what happens is when we start talking about bad apples, whether it's the police department, whether it's in legislation, whether it's executive level, whether it's coaches, you can't be bad apples when you are in charge of lives. Because it's a big machine that's supposed to work a certain way, right? So we put this big, beautiful machine together, and you get one piece that gets loose. The machine is still running, but it doesn't work like it's supposed to. And then another piece gets loose, and the machine is still running. It seems like it's doing what it's supposed to do from the outside, but it's still shaking something loose, and it's not working the same way for everybody. That's the system we live in. Because what happens is people will point to the laws, they'll point to the constitutions in which we are all supposed to live, all supposed to have, all supposed to be connected, all supposed to be protected, but we aren't, because it's not working the way it was built. Because there are bad pieces. We can't be bad pieces in the locker room, y'all. We can't have that. And this is to the men. If you want them to stand with Black lives, if you want them to care about you, you got to care about their stuff too. If women aren't being treated the same, you got to care about that and speak on that too. If the sexual orientations aren't being respected and you can't love them no matter how they identify, that's on you. You got to stand for that too. Because everybody that came out here to walk, they came out here to walk because they believe that Black lives matter. But we're not getting it confused that this is the only thing that matters. And so if we're going to be together, we got to hate all evil. Every evil has to be an issue to us. This is the fight right now. This is the fight where we are under siege, and we understand that. But if we're going to do this together, we got to really be together. Like, this can't just be about today because somebody put this together and said, we're going to bring some people to talk, we're going to bring some people to show love, and we want to show people that finally LSU has got it in their mind that they want to do some shit. This cannot be for show. I'm not here for show. This really has to resonate with y'all. Y'all really have to feel this, because the only way to live it is to truly feel it. And I'm not saying you got to understand what it's like to be Black. But everybody knows what it's like to be treated like you're less than. Everybody knows the feeling of when you watch a man get shot 7 times in the back, or when you watch a man get kneeled on for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Some of y'all run track. Y'all know how damn far y'all can run in 8 minutes and 46 seconds? Y'all can run a mile, chill, run another one, and get back. That's how long there was a knee on George Floyd's back. And so when we start to think about ways to make this better, when we start to think about ways for this to grow, it starts with us. The most important 18 to 21-year-olds in Louisiana wear purple and gold on game nights. The voices that people will listen to wear purple and gold on game nights. And this is not your obligation. You don't have to do this. But I'm telling y'all right now, my generation effed it up. We didn't get it right. We didn't have the conversations. We didn't have the compassion. We didn't have the love. We didn't have the heart, courage, and bravery that y'all have. We're here because of y'all. We're here because of these coaches. We're here because this matters. I know that my generation, the old people that I walk around with, that I rock with, they ain't gonna fix it. But y'all can. Y'all can do something different. Y'all can do something better than we ever did it. And don't worry about the boos. Don't worry about what people think of you. Don't worry about the lies that will be spread because you care. Because you open your mouth and because it matters to y'all. Trust me, I ain't never been liked anyway, so I don't care. But what I do know is that I'm loved. And that's way different. I ain't gotta be your homie. I ain't gotta be the person that you wanna rock with or you wanna have beers with every day. But I wanna be the person that you listen to and that you watch live and you say the shit that he says matches the way that he lives. That he loves people the way he says he wants to be loved, because that's what it's all about. This is human rights, y'all. Everybody deserves to feel truly protected. Everybody deserves to feel fully loved. Everybody deserves to feel completely equal. I know that it sounds, even Nick, y'all guy, Nick Saban, that was my coach, obviously. Nick is something. Nick is a politician. This morning he goes on and they ask him about the movement and he says all lives matter. I 100% agree. I put out a piece that said it this week, all lives matter, right? But right now, all lives are not under siege. All lives are not under attack. Black lives matter. They mattered yesterday, they matter today, they're gonna matter tomorrow, but they only matter if we continue to make them matter. So make sure when we walk away from this, this isn't like the cool thing we post on Instagram, this isn't the cool thing that we do. We didn't just come here because they put it together and because our coaches said that we could come. Make sure you walk away with knowledge of understanding. I'm gonna educate myself. I'm gonna educate myself on who I am. I'm gonna educate myself on who my teammates are. I'm gonna educate myself on the system that we are facing and trying to infiltrate. Because I used to serve this. It don't look the same. It used to look really good, by the way. I'm just saying. Like, tell you, I saw a picture of him from like 18 years ago, man. Coach Moffitt and them took it in the stadium. Fine, I ain't gonna lie. Ask my wife where she at. You know it, girl. She's still here, right? But I used to serve this, right? And when I got here, serving this was all about what it did here. I didn't continue to grow here. That's why it's taken me till 40 to get an opportunity to have a microphone and talk to y'all. Continue to grow here. Understand the system, understand what we're facing, and you infiltrate it. You change it. We can't change it from the outside just by having marches. We can't change it from the outside because we're pissed off, because we're scared, because we're hurt. You got the coach's ear now. These coaches can get into any freaking building they want in Louisiana. Trust me, I know. They can talk to any politician you want them to talk to. Tell them get you in the right rooms. Tell them give you an opportunity with an audience that can actually make change. And then you learn how that change is made. If we want to be different, we got to live different. And then when we live different, we got to teach different. But the only way we get to teach different is if we actually learn it the right way. I love LSU. But these buildings don't mean nothing to me. I love LSU because of the people. I am a people person. I am loyal to people, not places. There are people here that if they go off and go other places, and Nikki goes to coach somewhere else when she can't, we're never gonna let her. If she goes, I am gonna support her because I love the person. I don't care what DB's Corey Raymond coaches. If he goes coaches somewhere else, I'm gonna love Coach Raymond and the person. Sam Nader, I don't care what he does. Lois Stuckey, Sharon Lewis, I don't care what they do. I am here for them. Be here for each other, man. Like, the purple and gold is not the colors we need to care about right now. Right? That's gonna be here. Care about each other. Care about the person to your left and your right. You need to know that they rock with y'all. You need to know that y'all can stand together and y'all can do more than go win a game. This is ultimately about love. Love yourself, love your teammates, love your family, hold each other accountable, and in holding each other accountable, make sure you can look yourself in the mirror every night and go to sleep knowing you did everything you possibly could to help as many people that look like you, but even more that don't. I love y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to be here. If you ever need me, I'm your voice. Y'all be good.
Today I come to you as a student athlete at LSU. But before the recruitment letters, before the individual and team achievements, before being selected for my national team of my home country, and before I even recognized my God-given talent, I was born a black man. Well, it's not only in recent times, but in times way before my existence, the unfair treatment of my people continuously pierces my heart and dampens my moral on a day-to-day basis. However, I still stand proud of our many achievements as a people. In saying that, being a student athlete at Louisiana State University, I've shared many great experiences with my teammates, coaches, and the broader student population. I experienced being able to attend a university that is known for athletic and academic success and student athletes holding pride on and off the field. As a student athlete, we live and thrive off the energy and support of our fans, whether that is in Benny Moore Stadium, Death Valley, Alex Box Stadium, and the PMAC, and in many other sporting facilities here on campus. We all hold pride wearing those three letters across our chest. I can go on and on and on about what it means to be a student athlete here at LSU, but when those uniforms come off, I was still born a black man. This is a sentiment that is shared among our community, and today we are called here to use our voices together to speak on such issues that has plagued the black community for centuries. While preparing this speech, I stumbled across a statistic which reads, for every 100,000 white identifying person in Louisiana, 675 are incarcerated. Per every 100,000 black individual in Louisiana, 2,749 are incarcerated, which is 4 times the amount of white per 100,000. In a state where 32.8% are black compared to whites being 62.8%, the incarceration rate is highly disproportionate. These are some of the many issues that needs to be addressed, and being a student athlete at a flagship university in the state of Louisiana, we have some level of influence on urging individuals in positions to shed light on these areas of injustice. At LSU, as an athlete, there is an implicit expectation that we go on our daily routines with integrity and school pride. We are placed in positions where many look towards us for semblances of hope. We strive to be an example for the black community who works twice as hard to get half as far as our white counterparts. While doing this, we hope that they can too be in such positions eventually. We are given the responsibility of being in a position of leadership and therefore need to transcend this role into addressing social injustice issues within this campus community and with the wider black community. We provide joy and entertainment to thousands of fans, but now it is time to use our voices to amplify the unheard and unrepresented black community. This is a time to not only march together, but to bring awareness, but also to stand up together and use our platforms to demand change. The Black Student Athlete Association provides us with the opportunity to use our voices together without fear of repercussions. Malcolm X once said, "There can be no black-white unity until there's first some black unity. There can be no workers' solidarity until there's first some racial solidarity." This message resonates with me because while we fight for equality and unity in a nation broken by racial disjunction, we must first unite our own communities. We must first be able to listen to each other and help each other. We must first be able to empower one another, because only then we will be able to combat such a dark and long-lasting problem. I am proud that we as a collective group are taking more steps towards this goal, and today we stand with our peers. This shows that we are heading in the right direction. I am proud that I am part of an organization that would do anything within our power to challenge and change these issues. And as we today, we leave as not just athletes shutting up and dribbling. We are not just entertainers to the masses. Our lives matter. And while we do acknowledge that every life does matter, every life cannot matter until Black lives matter. We are more than just athletes. I am more than that. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Kind of short. Is this okay for everybody? Can everybody hear me in the back? Yeah? Alright. So, hi, my name is Journey Woodward, and I am on the women's track and field team here. I run 400 meter hurdles, and I am a senior, so almost time to get up out of here. Today I want to talk about the dire importance of mental health and personal and professional development. We've all lost someone. I struggled with the death of my mother before I went to my sophomore season of outdoor track and field, where I had to compete in the 400 meter hurdles. Without the help of Bruce Buggs, a psychologist in the LSU sports psychology and counseling department, I wouldn't have been able to really process what had happened to me and my family and push through the hardest time in my life. Well, so far, anyway, I'm only 20. Mental health is so important, not just as a student athlete, but as a human being. We at the Black Student Athletic Association have been in communication with the leaders of the athletics administration. We told them many things that we wanted to see change. Two of those demands were, one, we want a minimum of 5 sports psychologists in the LSU sports psychology and counseling department. Diversity is imperative in this field. To achieve it, as a more racial and gender-inclusive staff would make student athletes feel more comfortable talking with a sports psychologist who can identify with them. The second one, we want more full-time staff added to the student athlete development department to ensure that student athletes receive more support with personal and professional development. Not all of us are going to the league. And I think it's just so important that we know how to behave on and off the court. So, the athletics administration considered what we asked for, and for these 2 demands, they are making it a priority, as they should be, because it is a priority. We will continue to press them and other leaders of institutions for change, because this generation of young women and young men and young non-binary people, we are change. And soon, we will be those leaders in those institutions but even we are going to need help from people who support us in mental health and professional development. To be involved in something like the BSAA, who advocates for change and progress, is astonishing. This is something that I never thought in a million years that I'd get to be a part of, and I'm glad that I am. I'm ecstatic. We're trailblazing. We are creating history. We are forging our own path into the future we would like to see for ourselves, our families, and our future families. I want to be an advocate for change in my community as a woman, in my community as a Black individual, in my community as an athlete, and in my community as a deaf and hard of hearing person. Thank you. So at this time, we want to open the stage for student athletes. If anyone wants to come up, share testimony, speak on anything, please do so at this time. We would really love to hear from you.
My name is Shakota Stevens. Many of y'all don't know that I kind of keep a low profile on campus and stuff like that. A lot of these guys want me to talk. Like I said, I like usually kind of lead from the back, but I just want to come and just kind of share what I share with some of these guys that organized this and all that. I just want to let y'all know I love and respect everything that everybody's doing out here. Just seeing everybody coming together, fighting for a cause that's been fought since we were born, our parents were born, and our grandparents were born. I love to see it, and I'm glad that we start to organize things like this and showing it and giving it the attention that it needs. But where I come in, where my fight comes in at is, we need to do more. We can't stop at just having marches every weekend and every other weekend. We can't stop at putting quotes and putting names and stuff like that on signs and expect change. We have to make the change. We have to be the change. We have to be the ones to hold ourselves to a certain standard. That's as Black people, that's as white people, that's people just in general. We have to have a better standard of excellence. I know I come from the football team, and we always talk about performing at the LSU standard performance. And we raise that bar every year, and I know that's just with football, but we need to do that in life. Every day you need to look in the mirror and see, what can I do? How can I get better? And if you're not doing that, like I said, we're just out here taking a mile-long walk. We out here just killing trees and and putting words on posters. Because at the end of the day, that's not really making a change. So my question is, what are we going to do? That's my question. What are we going to do? Because like I said, I am proud of this. Because this is a step that, like Ryan said, this is a step my dad, he wouldn't have took. Because in that age group, it was, you only can do so much. So I'm glad in our generation, we had enough. So right now we're repeating what we saw our grandparents did. We're repeating what, MLK did, but that's already been done. I'm gonna tell you about the protests. My grandpa, she told me about LSU, and she told me about why they marched. They marched so people can take notice of what's happening. MLK told people to bring their kids along these marches so the white people that were on the fence can see them get beat. So marching, it's trying to basically tell other people, trying to show other people that, hey, racism does exist. And honestly, I refuse to believe that now, that in today's society and today, especially with the camera and all that we're oblivious to the fact. So, like I asked again, what are we going to do? What change are we going to make? Because at the end of the day, like I said, you can ask my teammates, I'm about action. Right now, in my eyes, we're just talking. Like Ryan said, don't come up, don't do this and put it on Instagram and Twitter and hashtag Black Lives Matter, and then go home and go watch football games that's on tonight. Or don't go home and get ready for a party that's going to be thrown this weekend. What are we going to do? And there's so many things that we can do. I know one of my biggest things is we can go back into the community. For the people that live in North Baton Rouge, y'all know what it is over there. Go back there. Tell them, this is what I've learned. This is the resources that I have. Let them know that this is not normal. Being oppressed, being suppressed is not normal. This is what I learned. Here, there's different organizations around BR, Power 225, where they go into these areas, they go give this information. But these people, they're not opening their ears to them because they don't look like them. They don't come from where they come from. But I guarantee you, they see an LSU athlete or an LSU athlete from the area that they're from talking about, listen to what they have to say. Going through their program, I promise you, we can better the next generation. So that's what I'm talking about right there. Because marches, posters, saying that we won't change is not enough anymore. It's not. So I'm gonna leave you with this question again. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna change? Let's be about that action.